Hey guys, this is Nazgul2K1. I'm coming at you with another video here. I know on 2 days in a row I got content up, which is crazy, but I did say I wanted to make this one, and I decided to do it this way, more along the lines of like a live stream, just to make things easier. Plus, my camera is still broken, so I can't, do the little actual stream type thing where they got their picture in the corner. But that's here or there. Anyway, today we're looking at Legends of Aria, and this game was released via Kickstarter, I believe it was, and it was done by the people who made Ultima Online. In fact, by very large circles of the community, it's known as Ultima Online 2. Uh, I wanted to give just a quick review, and I have a feeling it's going to end up going a little long, but I just wanted to give a quick review. And for the too long didn't read version, don't buy this game. Stay tuned, we'll figure this out. Now, the game is kinda mired in a swamp right now, and the developers behind the game are trying to push their way forward on it, but it's starting to really feel like they don't have a direction in mind. And to give you an example of this, when this game was originally released to customers, it was supposed to be for a 2-week early access period before the game went live on Steam and then went to full release. That was 156 days ago. So, uh, they're still in early access. They've basically announced they're going to be in early access for the foreseeable future. The Steam release has been put off until spring 2019 with no firm date hammered down. Uh, they have 3 servers. They have 2 American and 1 European, and unfortunately, all 3 of them are ghost towns right now. It's really, it pains me to say it because I'm old school. My first MMO was Ultima Online, and it really had me kind of excited when I saw this, and I thought, oh my goodness, I'll be able to play UO in a new generation. Well, as I'm running around here, you can see there's player housing. These are all player-owned houses. They've added some great new stuff as far as player housing goes. I have no qualms with any of the housing or the character models or even the overall graphics for what they're trying to push out here. It's not The Witcher 3, folks. I'll tell you that right now. In case you can't tell that, you're not looking at, top tier, holy crap level graphics. But they're passable, and I mean they're pretty good. Especially for if you compare them to Ultima Online, which you can Google that, do a direct comparison if you like, and trust me, you'll pretty quickly realize just how much better these graphics are. Unfortunately, that's about where the good points really end. Uh, the game is struggling because they copied so much from Ultima Online, but they also managed to copy the fact that there's still no end game. There's still no hook to keep playing, I guess you could say. They and they don't have, as far as I could tell, and what they've released and what they've said on their website, they really don't have anything that can hook you. It's the same thing as UO. It's housing and PvP is their end game right now. Now they have skill books, which is how you're supposed to, I guess, better your character, but you can only have 2. So once you have those 2 for the type of character that you have, you're done. The only thing you have left is housing and PvP. So if you're not a PvP guy or girl, hey, hold on, guy or girl, let's not be judgmental. I'm not that kind of man. But if you're that type of gamer, you're going to be great, if you just want to do nothing but PvP all day. But if you're a guy that wants to go out and do raiding and grouping and things of that nature, there's nothing here for you. Um, it it's really bare bones, and that's really the best way I can describe it. Is it's nowhere near ready for a Steam release. It's nowhere near ready for a general public release. This game shouldn't be costing people $30 to play it right now. It really shouldn't. This sh- this would be a beta test for any other game prior to this generation, when all the developers are like, "Oh, we'll sell it to them and call it early access." It drives me nuts. I hate it. But now, let's get into why I'm nitpicking this. Number one, the systems are the same as Ultima Online. There's absolutely zero change there. You you can see on the right side of my screen here, these are my 6 skills. They go up by percentage points. I currently have a 46.2 in animal lore. I have a 46.7 in animal taming, etc., etc., etc. And they go up the same way. You use the skill, and you'll occasionally get a 0.1% increase, and you're like, yay! Uh, the As you can see, I'm getting bad frame rate drops and spikes. This should not be happening. But I don't hammer them on the graphics and the technical aspect of it so much, because yes, it is early access. They've got time to hammer that stuff out, and they have brought in outside game developers to help fix the frame rate issues. So they have acknowledged it, they have apologized for it, and they are working on it. So as far as I'm concerned, kudos to them right there. They did what they're supposed to do. But their creative team is where they're falling short. Because once they've finished copying everything they could from Ultima Online, there's really nothing more here. Now, as you can see here, I'm in the eastern frontier. It's where the city of Helm is. And this whole area here, it's small. This it's really hard to explain, but the game itself, the whole thing, and I'm going to open my bag here, hold on, because I can show you this really easily. Where's my atlas? There it is. And I don't have all the maps yet, but you can buy them in any store. But this is just to give you a general idea of what the map looks like. Now, this continent here doesn't exist yet, and there's another one over here somewhere that's not actually in the game yet. I think it's this right here. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But I know this one's not here. So you basically have like these little areas here. You got here, 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 and then, oh, wait, this is here. So it's got to be this. But like you have this really to work with. And you can go from here, from Helm, to here in maybe 2 minutes by horseback. And I mean maybe. Honestly, I'd do it right now, but I just don't have the desire to. You can go I know for a fact you can go from here to here in 6 minutes, because I've done that and I measured it. So if you go by the basic size of just from point A to point B here and then scale it, you can see the world is really small. There's also no content, and I'm sorry, there's no content. There's every guide. If you go Google how to GM Evo, or not evocation, we'll get into that in a minute, but how to GM swordsmanship, it'll tell you go to the graveyard outside of town until you're 50, and then go to corruption, the dungeon, until you GM. That's not really much in the forms of content, yeah, and that's for every skill except magery and animal taming. But for swordsmanship, shields, light armor, heavy armor, all that stuff, they tell you, every guide will tell you, go to corruption until you hit GM. Corruption is the newbie dungeon. It's right outside of town, which it's funny. My atlas is blank and my maps are blank, but I could see them if I'm not in that continent, which, lame. But the dungeon is right, I want to say here. The newbie dungeon is right there. It's right outside the town. You come around and boom, you're there. It's in a protected land, so you can't be PK'd, because yes, you can be randomly freaking PK'd if you go to the wrong area. But it's this little newbie dungeon that I'd say realistically would support, I want to say about maybe 40 people. I mean, if they're like spread out and they claim like a wing of the dungeon, you could probably get like 40 people in there comfortably. And every single guide says go there. So when this game launches on Steam, you're going to have, let's say, 2,000 people buy this game. Well, first of all, there's nothing in the game that tells you where to go to raise your skills. And when you're fighting something, it doesn't tell you you're going to gain skill off this. It doesn't tell you you're not going to gain skill off this. So it's basically trial and error to figure out whether or not you're actually going to get a skill up unless you go and dig around online. That is a huge, huge strike against this game. I shouldn't have to do Google research and Reddit threads to figure out if taming this giant rat is going to get me skill. It won't, by the way. I'm way, way past giant rats. But it's the same thing with combat itself. Like, if you come upon, and I can't say a monster in the wild because there are none. But like if you go to a camp with a lich in it, and you're a swordsman guy with a shield and armor, and you walk up and you start hitting it, you're gonna find out really quick you just got exploded. And the game won't tell you that. Now, if you've ever played any other MMO, there's usually some sort of con system so that you know the power of the monster you're fighting. So it at least gives you a general idea of, you know, uh-oh, I should probably not mess with this. I'm not really that strong yet, sort of thing. There's nothing here. You have no idea what you're fighting until it smacks you in the face. Which, I guess you could make the argument that it adds to the realism. But at the same time, if you're a new player and you're coming at this completely ignorant to how Ultima Online works, the only thing you're going to see is, well, why don't they add a con system? And even Ultima Online, if you remember, even Ultima had a con system. It was called the anatomy skill. It could give you a basic outline of how big and strong the monster was. So you had an idea. And no, it wasn't always accurate, but at least you had an idea. There's no idea here. Now, another big problem, and when I said content, I meant it, is I am running around outside of Helm. And I could do this all day. I could cover every inch of this continent, and you'll see exactly what they have to offer us here. Trees, grass, and a couple of forest animals. That's it. There's nothing else here. There's no little, like, you know, oh, there's an orc roaming the woods. Nope, there's none of that. There's no NPC saying, help, help, I need to be saved. There's nothing like that. There's no interesting NPC locations like a guard tower or like a bandit camp or something like that. There's none of that here in this game, unless it's a I guess you could say a preset position, but there's no randomness to it at all. There's nothing, you know, like if there is bandit camp right here, it's marked on my map, as you can see. That camp will always be there, no matter what. Now, for a game that's supposedly based on player exploration and, you know, them controlling the world and yada yada yada, the fact that that bandit camp is always going to be there no matter what, it's boring. And then on top of that, it's always the same bandits in said bandit camp. There's never anything different. There's never anything new. You're not surprised. Once you learn the layouts of the map, there's nothing else to see here, guys. That's it. You're done. Unless you want to just GM your skills or whatever. But, you know, oh, and these are the ghetto houses. I love these, by the way. You just get it's a little one. I wonder if I can open the door. Hold on. Nope, it's locked. But it's literally a one-room ghetto house. It's fantastic. There we go. We're coming up on this bandit camp now, but I just want to show you what I mean. But here I am running through this bandit camp. And I could come back here tomorrow, next week, next month. They'll always be the same mobs. Ooh, I better be careful. I'm going to screw around and get myself killed. Oh, that's bad. Alright, so thankfully there is an exit back here, so we're good. Get out of there. I did better get some healing on myself though. As you can see, for casting a spell to target yourself, you have to click, you can either push 1 and then push G to target yourself, which actually is faster way of casting. As you can see, you're much quicker than the old UO, where you'd have to click the spell icon and then target yourself. But yeah, moving on, and I really do want to wrap this up because I don't want it to take too long. This is a tamer, and I don't have any pets, so I can't really show you any combat, but it's pretty much, it's UO combat. If you've played Ultima Online, you've done everything there is to do in this game, systems-wise. I cannot stress that enough. There's really nothing there. Their next major update, which is supposed to be well, let me rephrase that. It's rumored to be their last update before the Steam launch, is just more PvP, and it's just not worth it right now. It's not. And I am looking forward to this game. I am excited on what it can bring, but as it stands right now, you're better off with a wait and see approach here. Just sit back, put this in the back of your mind for a year, put it on your Steam wish list, and come back in a year and see where it's at. If you can see, because by then I guarantee you it will have launched on Steam, so you won't have to worry about, picking it up from an external source. But let's just let it simmer until there's something there to offer the player base. Because right now, they have a small world. They're going to try and cram too many people on it. People are going to get frustrated because they can't find anything to do. And much like these servers now, they're going to quit. Now, just to give you an idea, my character is bound in the largest and most busy city in the game. This is their idea of a large, busy city. Grass, rocks, trees. Even the cities look the same. And as you can see, very plainly, these two are the same person. I can almost guarantee it. But even if not, hey, look, two people in what's supposed to be the biggest city in the game. Now, I could be wrong, and there could be 1,000 people sitting somewhere else. I doubt it. There's nobody, and this game is just launching. There should be people everywhere, and there's not. Most of the community completely died out in February when they announced there was going to be another 6 months of early access testing. So everyone went, And then we come to find out 2 days ago that not only are they going to open up a new server for Steam, they're going to push that server on Steam so that all the Steam subscribers who buy the game on Steam go to that server. So what they basically just announced is if you're playing on any of the current servers, you can go screw yourself. Because these servers are going to stay dead. So nobody wants to play and put time in on a character that, unless you want to play with other people, is going to be worthless. It's terrible. They've made some really bad decisions, and I'm hoping they fix it and correct themselves. Personally, they don't need another server unless these hit critical mass, which, as of right now, I'm willing to bet there's not even 100 people spread across all three of these servers. Wait and see, chillax, let it simmer, let them fix some problems, and I guarantee you, give it a year or so, and this game could be something really special. But as of right now, it is not very special. It is just a bare bones tech demo of what a game could be. But as it sits now, it's just not worth it. I would really love to go into more, but I don't want to make this too long. Plus, I mean, I, I'm I don't really want to hammer the game too hard because it doesn't deserve it. It it's early access. If they hadn't released and they had kept this internal, no one would be upset about it. They are, a beta testing group. No one would be upset about this. But there's a lot of people that are getting salty over their lack of updates, and I don't want to hammer them too hard because they are a small studio, and I don't want to do that to them. But I'm telling you, save your money. No one's playing it. Just let it simmer. I'm not bad mouthing the game. I'm merely saying there's no content yet, and they are adding it. But it's just not worth your money right now. Especially if they're going to start playing around with the server releases and everything. You don't even want to buy it and start putting work into a character thinking, oh, I'll play this when the game launches. Because when the game launches, your server could be dead. You literally be putting in all that work and go, well, wow, now I got to go start all over again in this server, and that just sucks. And yeah, it does suck. So it's definitely a wait and see. Just wait until give it a year. That's all I'm saying is give it a year. It's got potential. And I know I've rambled on too long, and I'm sure there's somebody good by the time they got into this point in the video will already be flaming me and telling me how it's the most awesomest game ever made. But I will never, ever, ever take that as a negative thing. You guys have a great day. This is Nazgul2K1, and I'm signing off. I am going to get something to eat. Time for dinner.